Hello, hello. Amy Perkle here. Okay, so I thought I would jump on here and I would just chat with y'all and share with you all what I feel is the number one thing that each of us can do every single month to help us financially to get from the beginning to the month to end of the month without questioning, where did all our money go? You know, this is something that every person can do. It doesn't matter what you make, but it's super important. And that's to set a budget. Just curious, just throw me some hearts. Do you set a budget every single month that you tell your money, this is exactly where it's going to go, and you know where it's going to go and you stick to that budget? I think the number one thing for us, it's just human, is for us to be able to tell ourselves no. You know, we see that in those new pair of shoes, or we see, you know, that new outfit, and we've just got to have it, right? We've got to have it, but we don't, you know, and I think that gets us in trouble a lot of times if we don't have a budget, because we have the money, so therefore we can afford it, right? Until you get to the end of the month. And then you get to the end of the month and you realize, oh shoot, I have $20 for the rest of the week to get gas. You know, who has been there? I know I'm not alone. So, I love and follow Dave Ramsey, and my lighting's really weird, so I'm trying to fix it real quick. And fix it. I love Dave Ramsey, and I follow Dave Ramsey's baby steps. That didn't fix it either. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to fix it, and it's just not gonna work. Follow his baby steps, because for me, not only was budgeting important, but for me to get out of debt is important. I don't want to be bound by debt in my life. I'm not judging if you have debt. I'm just saying that's personally for me, that's where I was, and that's what David and I decided we wanted to do, was to get out of debt. So right now, the only debt we have is our home, which we are working on actually putting extra money towards so we can pay it off quicker, because we want to be able to retire one day and not have to worry about anything and travel, because y'all know we love to travel. So anyway, so if you were to want to follow Dave Ramsey's steps, budgeting is a big part of it. But the first thing he would tell you to do is, if you're behind on anything, get that stuff caught up. And if you're not behind, what you would do next is you would actually save $1,000. Okay, I know that doesn't sound like a lot. $1,000 isn't a lot, but you would be surprised the number of people who don't have $1,000 sitting in an account for an emergency. Seriously, y'all, it's common not to have that. And I know if you have it, you don't understand that concept, but trust me, a lot of people don't have that little emergency fund, $1,000. $1,000 will cover a lot of emergencies, not if you have a lot at one time, but your car breakdown. Most of the time, $1,000 will cover a car repair. If you have to pay a deductible because you were in a car accident, $1,000 will cover your deductible. So it's super important for us to have like a little safety net there, so that if an emergency does come up, we're not set back again, okay? So first, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to sit down and you're going to want to write out, what do you make on a monthly basis? So for my husband and I, we get paid every 2 weeks, and we get paid the same 2 weeks. So that kind of makes it easy for me. I actually do my budget, not necessarily for the month, but for every 2 weeks when we get paid. I take our expenses and I write them out and when their due date is. So then I know when I'm getting paid, and I know in which time frame those bills have to be paid. So I like to be super budgeted, cash flow budgeted, and that's how I do that. So I actually just made up a little numbers here. I think I got it going the right way. I flipped my camera. To just say, if this was our paychecks for the month, say we made $5,000, and then I'm going to list everything out that I have to pay out. So for us, we believe in tithing, so we're going to tithe 10% to our church. You don't tithe, no judgment. That's just me, and I just wanted to put that out there for those who feel the same way. That is something that I do very first, is budget for my tithing. Next, mortgage. Whatever your mortgage payment, your rent payment is. Then you have your cell phones, okay? Y'all check your cell phone bills. Make sure that you can't cut back any. Don't be overpaying for a service that you're not using. Internet. Can't live without internet nowadays, can we? But look at your TV. Do you have Dish or Direct TV or something like that? It's costing you $100 and something a month. I know for our family, we have YouTube TV, and it works really good for us. I mean, we get all the national channels, ABC, CBS, NBC, and all that, and pretty much everything we want to watch is on there, including a ton of sports for my husband. So look at things and say, hey, is there a way that I can cut back on this? Because y'all, when I started budgeting, I cut back on so much stuff that we were just wasting money on, okay? You're not going to the gym, cancel the gym membership, people. Go outside, go for a run, go for a walk. There are other things you can do to get yourself on track. And the thing is you're going to get yourself on track, and then you'll be able to do more things and enjoy them. So next, you're going to look at what do you spend every month on food. And when I'm talking food, I am talking food that you're cooking at home. I think the number one thing that I realized we were wasting so much money on was eating out. A family of 6 to eat out is super expensive. It is at least, at minimum, $40 a pop for us to eat out. I don't care where it is. It just ends up being around $40. So for us, that was a huge thing for us to realize that we needed to start meal planning and we needed to start cooking at home. So tonight I made fresh chicken tenders, mashed potatoes, I had a bag of corn, a can of pinto beans, and a little packet of gravy. I think we maybe spent $15 on that meal. It would have probably wouldn't have fed my family of 6 because my boys eat a lot of chicken, but it would have fed a family of 4 easily, $15, and might have some leftovers depending on what age your kids are. But so you're gonna write out your expenses. So these are some of the other things that I do. I do miscellaneous because things happen. I have a doctor's appointment, that the kid gets sick and you got to go to the doctor, or you're the one sick. That tends to be me lately. Your power bill. You kind of know what your power bill runs you every month. So budget your power bill. If you know this month was really low because it was good weather and next month's going to be really cold, you might want to bump it up a little bit. So you're going to guesstimate your power bill. You can pull your gas receipts and you can kind of see how much gas do you spend every month. Budget that out. You know what? You may not be able to drive around as much as you want to because you have a budget and you've got to stick to it, and getting to work is kind of important. If you have a car payment, you need to budget your car payment. You know how much that costs you every month, or 2 car payments. A lot of families have 2 car payments. Let me all tell you something. It is a myth that you will always have a car payment. We have not had a car payment for almost a year now on any car in our house, and we have 3 vehicles. So it is possible. You just have to buckle down and you have to give up a few things to get to that point, but it is so freeing. Childcare. I don't have childcare now, but I remember having to pay childcare, and that is definitely something you're going to have to budget. Car insurance and your water bill. Okay, so I think that kind of covers just like the general things that people have. You might have something else that I don't have or that I didn't even think of, and that's fine. You might have credit card payments. I don't have credit card payments, so I didn't put that on here. But that might be something that you have, your minimum payment that you have. But other things you need to think about is we have an emergency fund, but we also know that we are going to need new tires, right? We're going to need oil changes. We're going to need new windshield wipers. There are things you're going to need for your car that you need to budget for and put into a fund. So this means every month you're going to budget a certain amount, kind of guesstimate like how much do I think I'm going to need in the next 6 months to a year for these items. And you're going to budget that, and you're going to set that money aside so that when it's time to get new tires, that money's sitting right there in that account for you to be able to buy those tires. You don't want to have to touch that emergency fund because that's not an emergency. Tires aren't an emergency unless you run over something, and that's an emergency. And Christmas is not an emergency, y'all. We know Christmas, it comes December 25th of every year. So put the money aside every month. Organize and budget for Christmas every single month. I know a lot of credit unions have like Christmas funds and stuff that you can put that money over there. Put it somewhere where you can't touch it and save up for Christmas. So when Christmas rolls around, you know, hey, I have $800 that I've saved this last 12 months for Christmas that I can spend towards Christmas gifts, and then live within that budget. Kids don't have to have everything. Trust me. I think the funnest thing that we did for Christmas is my sister and her kids came over this year for Christmas. And instead of us getting Christmas gifts this year, I said, let's order pizza and let's play games. And we did that. And I wrapped up this thing with cellophane and put like a $10 bill in the middle of it. And the kids rolled dice and they unwrapped it. And we had such a great time. Those memories are going to last way longer than those gifts. So don't feel like you've got to buy everything, because you don't. What you can buy somebody does not show how much you love them, okay? Spending the time with them is what shows it. And I know that's hard sometimes with kids, but trust me, one day they will appreciate it, because you will teach them these life skills and they won't struggle as adults. Other things, termite inspection. You know, so every year we have to re-up our termite letter for our house. Well, that's something that comes up here every year. I haven't looked it up, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. I need to look it up. It's like $200 a year, but that's something you need to save for every month, so that when, you know, that month rolls around, you're not like, oh shoot, where am I getting this extra $200 from? So those are just some things that I do when I budget, is I look forward to like, what do I need to pay in the future? What do I need to start setting aside to be able to pay for that? So really sit down and think about this. And the really important thing is for you and your spouse to sit down together. So it's fine if you want to sit down separately and kind of write some things out and what you're thinking and what you're wanting. Totally fine. But come together and create a budget. So I love Excel. I love paper. There is an app that Dave Ramsey has. It's called the Every Dollar app. You do not need to purchase the upgraded version. You can use the free version. It's an app. You can both log into it, and you can log when you make a purchase in a line item, so you can keep up with that together if that's something that you're interested in. I am a paper person. I can tell David, you know, another thing I didn't put on here, I forgot to even put it on here, is we each get a set amount every 2 weeks that we can go get cash out of the bank, and we can spend however we want, no questions asked. Now, this is not an absorbent amount of cash, y'all. It's like $50 every 2 weeks. David can go out to eat. I can buy something if I want to buy something with it. I tend to buy things. David tends to eat out. That's how we roll. But we don't question each other, because that's our free money that we get to do whatever we want. But you don't want it to be a huge amount of money, y'all, because you really don't need it. It's just something to give you that little bit of freedom and to feel like, you know, everything doesn't have to be answered for. So you're just going to write down your budget. And so let's see here. Sorry, I have my thing flipped and I'm backwards. So you're going to write down how much do you bring in a month, okay? And then you're going to write down your expenses. And then you're going to come down. And so it said, okay, my expenses are only $39.67. So that leaves me $1,033 that I haven't budgeted yet. But we're doing a zero-based budget. We're budgeting every single penny. So I just wanted you to see where I landed. Well, I don't have my emergency fund. So guess what? I have enough for an emergency fund. So I'm going to take that $1,000 and I'm going to put it over in my savings account. And that money's not going to be touched unless it's a true emergency, okay? So it's going to be there in case something really happens. I don't panic. I have the money. I'm not going to panic. Super important. And then I have $33 more. So what am I going to do with that $33 right there? You're not going to take it and go, oh, well, let's throw that in my fun money. I need a little bit more fun money. No, you're going to take that $33 and you're going to list your debts if you want to get debt free, okay? If you don't want to get debt free and you just want to do a budget just to know where your money is and to make sure that you have enough money to get from the beginning of the month to end of the month, is totally fine. But if your goal is to get to the point where you can become debt free or pay down your debts and get yourself in a better financial position for the long term, you're going to go and you're going to list your debts, smallest to largest. So let's say you have a credit card, and on that credit card you owe $250. So you're going to list credit card $250. And then you have a medical bill for $425. So you're going to put medical bill, $425. Obviously you would have the minimum payments budgeted in your budget, but what you would do is you would take that $33 and you would throw it at that smallest debt you have. So this is called the debt snowball. And why is it called the debt snowball? Because you're going to chip away at that smallest one, and that smallest one's going to disappear quicker than if you went to the car payment you owe $20,000 on, right? That's a little daunting. But you're going to get rid of that. And as you pay that off, you're going to take that minimum payment and the extra money you have, and you're going to throw it at your next smallest debt. Okay, so you're going to sequentially, you're just going to keep rolling that money and paying off that debt. And trust me, once you start, it is so exciting to pay off that first debt. When you pay off that first debt, you're like, wow, I did that. We did that because we buckled down. We did that because we didn't eat out. We did that because we didn't buy the kids everything they wanted when they wanted. I mean, I know kids need things, but they want a lot of things, okay? And mom of 4 teenagers, I get it, but we do not go out and buy all sorts of things. I would much prefer memories and vacations than I do that they have every ear pod or whatever. And I'm not judging if you have bought your kids ear pods. They are fabulous, and I really want a pair, okay? I'm not gonna lie. But I've got a little fake pair and they work just fine. But the budget is just gonna tell your money where to go, and you're gonna stick to it, and you're gonna get better at it. And they say, it takes a really good 3 months to truly get where you kind of get your budget. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest, as a mom, 3 months, there are things this year for senior year that I had no clue I needed to be budgeting for. So as I found them out, I would budget them as quickly as I could to try to squeeze them into our budget and make sure everything was taken care of. That's kind of hard. Another thing a lot of people do, and it's something I was already doing, but not in the sense like a lot of people. A lot of people, when they decide they want to become debt free, they might take on a second job. Just on the weekends, one of the spouses might go work at Pizza Hut and deliver pizzas, or go work at the outlet mall or Walmart or somewhere just to bring in an extra, $300-400 a month to start chipping away at debt, if that's what they, where they're wanting to go is to pay off this debt, to get it to going a little bit quicker. You make sacrifices now, but in the end, the sacrifice, yes, college, oh my gosh, Allison, yes. We don't even know yet, do we, girl? But to make the sacrifice now so that later in life, you can enjoy life, okay? I was tired of living paycheck to paycheck when we had plenty of money to not live paycheck to paycheck, okay? I'm just being real. We were blowing so much money when I realized that it made me sick, okay? You may not be in that situation. You may seriously, honestly, just be living paycheck to paycheck, but I can promise you there are places, if you sit and you write your budget out, there are places in there for you to save money. I know people like to get their hair done. I know you like to get your nails done. I enjoy that stuff just as much as you, I promise. But there were times where I did my own hair and it was just a one color because that's what I could afford to get me to where I wanted to be. So maybe you only get your hair done every 6 months. And I'm not trying to step on your toes, Allison. I'm just saying those are things. Allison's a hairdresser. Those are things that you might be able to rearrange a little bit. Maybe not go every 6 weeks, go every 8 weeks. You know, there's ways to do things still and to do them the correct way. So you want to get your hair done and you have your monthly stipend of no questions asked, save that up and go get your hair done. You know, that's how you kind of work on those things. But setting a budget is super, super important, and it will be life-changing if you will sit down and do it. Whether you're single or you're married, if you're married, sit down and do it together. I know Elizabeth just jumped on, and I know Elizabeth and her husband have been doing this, and it is amazing, and it is such a great feeling. And yes, you're going to make sacrifices, y'all. You will make sacrifices to make sure that you do what you want to do, that you meet the goals you want to meet, be it that you just want to have a better life so you're not stressed, or that you want to pay off that debt. Budgeting is the way for that to happen, and you have to do it together, because if you're not united, it's not going to work. Have you ever heard that thing about the strands? Like, the more strands that are wrapped together, the stronger you are. So you're going to be stronger if you're together than if you are separate. It really, Elizabeth says, budget life really is the best life. It really is. You think it's restrictive, but once you get used to it, it's really not that restrictive. It's so, so freeing. Allison said, yes, I've been cutting back on getting my nails done and finding cheaper options. Yep. I did my nails at home. I got them done for the cruise, but that's the first time I had gotten them done in a long, long time, because I'm okay with it. I mean, I'm not here to please anybody. Sorry, y'all. I hit my phone and then it moved and the lighting messed up, and there we are with my white face again. Thank you, Facebook. I don't know. Oh shoot. Y'all, I flipped my phone. I don't even know how I did that. Okay, sorry. I was hitting up here and the buttons down here. So, anyway, if you sit down and you do your budget and you're just like really looking at it and you're like, I am so confused, but I really want to do this, because I take for granted that everybody knows how to do a budget. I take that for granted because I am a numbers person. It's kind of embarrassing that I wasn't budgeting and I'm such a numbers person, but I am a numbers person, and budgeting is so easy for me if I just sit down and do it, but it's not easy for everybody. So if you're sitting down and you're doing your budget and you're just like, I'm confused, or I just want somebody to look over it. Okay, zero judgment for me. Okay, y'all, zero judgment for me. If you want me to look over it and you want me to give you suggestions, or you want me to ask you if you've forgotten something or anything like that, please, please, please feel free to reach out to me. I do not mind. I may not get back to you like right then, but I will get back to you, because I am super passionate about helping people to learn to budget, to learn to get out of debt, and to just have a better life. I want you to learn to take control of your life instead of your life having control of you, because I feel like if we get on that crazy cycle, everything just goes crazy. But if we can take control of what we can control, life goes so much smoother. And I know we can't control everything, but we can control this right here, okay? Just living willy-nilly and just swiping that card. Y'all, get rid of the card. Get rid of your credit card. You don't need a credit card. If you gotta have one, put it in like the freezer and like freeze it in a block of ice where you can't get to it. And don't memorize the number like me, okay? That doesn't help either. But seriously, they say that swiping a card, you have zero reaction to get rid of your money. So if you truly, truly want to dive in like never before, I challenge you to actually go and get cash for some of these line items. Don't carry it around with you everywhere. I don't want it getting stolen. But your food, if you budget $600 a month for food, take out a certain amount every week and only spend that certain amount. And if you don't have that, you put it back, and that's okay. You can put it back if it's something you don't need. I mean, we all buy stuff that we don't need. Who throws away food every week? Come on, don't lie. I know I am not the only one. So, but sit down, write everything out, if you're like me and you're more worried about like, here's when I get paid, here's when the bills are due, I can kind of help you sort that out if you're interested. But I really, really want to encourage you, sit down, set a budget, live by the budget, see how a budget can change your life and change your future. Because ultimately where you want to get is you want to be debt free. You want to be putting money into a retirement. Y'all, I do not trust the government to take care of me. I don't trust them. I'm sorry. I work for a government and I don't trust the government, okay? I don't trust them. I want to be able to enjoy retirement when I get to retirement. I want to be able to have the things I need to have to live a good life. I don't want to work every day of my life and then come home to retirement and be miserable because I'm stuck with nothing. So your ultimate goal is to set yourself up for your future, to set yourself up so that you can enjoy life and that you will work for a purpose, not just to live day by day, but to live for the future and to plan for your future. So anyway, one last time, if you have any questions, I'm going to post this, I'll post this in the comments of this video just so you can kind of see this budget. It's not anything fancy at all. It doesn't have to be fancy, y'all. It's just, you got to follow it. You got to do it and you got to follow it. But if you have any questions, if you're working on your budget and you're just not 100% sure, I am not going to take for granted that people do not understand how to budget and that people just aren't numbers people. I want to help you. So if that is something that you're interested in, send me a message. Say, hey, can I share with you what I have written down? And can you help me organize it and make sure that I am doing this correctly? I will be more than happy to do that. So anyway, I appreciate y'all jumping on and listening to me ramble, but I am super passionate about this. And I really, really, really want to see each and every one of you succeed in your life, succeed, just succeed monthly, and know that you're not stressed out over how am I going to pay that bill. So anyway, thank you all, and y'all have a good evening. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.